Is there a package that the Lakers can put together, you think, that would give the Spurs some pause over the next few days or weeks prior to LeBron's decision?
Yeah, I mean, listen, is it possible? Yes. It would certainly, you'd believe it would have to start with Brandon Ingram. And I wouldn't, listen, if you look back at what the Lakers did with Indiana last year when Paul George said that he wasn't going to re-sign with them, and if you want to trade me, you can trade me. If you want me to play out the last year and become a free agent, you could do that too. The Lakers never really made a significant offer. They didn't offer Brandon Ingram. They didn't offer the number 2 pick in the draft, which became Lonzo Ball. I think Indiana would have listened to either of those. And so Indiana does a deal with Oklahoma City, who trades for Paul George blindly. They didn't know whether they'd have a chance to keep him. They hope they did, and they've made a good case to him. And that's the risk for the Lakers. They didn't ante up. They thought, we'll get him next year. And now they're in a position where they might get him, but they also may not. He may stay in Oklahoma. He may go somewhere else. He had a really good experience with the Thunder. So that's the risk. If you're the Lakers, you go all in, offer many of your assets, future first-round picks, Ingram. There's a few other young players that might interest them. Or do you just say, well, we believe this player will come sign with us in 2019 when he's a free agent? It's a risk. And so those are all the things in play there, and Boston could step up. Boston's had interest in Leonard. They continue to have interest. And Boston, nobody has the package of young players and a bushel of first-round draft picks that Boston has. If Boston decides they want a player, they can overwhelm you with a package to do a deal. And
they're also geographically sound for being in the other conference. If that suits San Antonio, which it makes sense it would. Adrian Wojnarowski here from ESPN, and in terms of that, look, I've been around information men and women for decades, and certainly those of your stature, that you don't like talking in absolutes at all, because you can never say never about anything. But is there any way on this green earth that LeVar Ball winds up with his son in San Antonio and Greg Popovich? Is there any way that happens?
I would call that unlikely. Yeah. That's an unlikely scenario. But
if we all, however, as NBA
absolutes,
yes, if we all as NBA fans start a GoFundMe page to pay to make something like that happen, is that entirely possible? Because that would be something to see.
Yeah, I would call that an unlikely scenario, but you never know.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.